After a few days of Elon pumping Dogecoin as a big middle finger to the SEC, it was recently announced that Elon decided to put the $1.5 billion of Tesla's cash into Bitcoin. So this is about roughly 15% of Tesla's cash. While I personally think this is a really awesome and forward-thinking move, Tesla was not the first company to actually do this. For instance, fintech company Square moved some cash over to Bitcoin back in 2018, and the software company MicroStrategy invested over $400 million into Bitcoin last year. So, since a portion of their cash is tied to Bitcoin, if we see Bitcoin do well over the next few years, you can bet that these companies are going to be doing well too. It allows them to raise cash without having to worry too much about the decreasing value of the dollar. So, back to Elon. His decision to do this is huge for a few reasons. It further legitimizes not just Bitcoin, but I think crypto in general as an incredibly useful asset to hedge against inflation. Elon also stated that Tesla will eventually be accepting Bitcoin as a legitimate payment in the future for Tesla. Now to me, this makes sense in the long term, as I think there's no doubt that in time, more and more companies will begin to let customers pay in crypto. But in the short term, the reason that this doesn't necessarily make sense to me is that, think about it this way. Let's say I go out and buy a Tesla with 2 Bitcoin. I guess in my mind, why would I want to go out and use Bitcoin to buy a Tesla when I could just use a traditional currency like USD and hold onto that Bitcoin and let it appreciate in value? The bottom line is, if you think Bitcoin is going to be worth more in the future than it is right now, it doesn't really make any sense to buy an expensive product with Bitcoin. In my mind, the only time that would make sense to buy a Tesla with Bitcoin would be if the price stabilizes in the future. Nonetheless, I still think it's a wise move on Elon's part to do this. Essentially, he's trying to get the world used to the idea of using Bitcoin as a legitimate and common form of currency. I mean, you have to start somewhere, and I think Elon is at least getting the ball rolling. And lastly, this move is no doubt going to force a lot of other companies to look at their cash reserves and potentially make a move to add a portion of their cash to Bitcoin, especially if the company has an abundance of cash on their balance sheet. But yeah guys, I'm genuinely curious what company will be next to follow in Elon's footsteps and allow their customers to pay for their products in Bitcoin. Like, will it be Apple, possibly Amazon, or Facebook? I think right now it's too hard to tell, but there's a good chance it'll probably be one of those companies. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when these next CEOs will follow in Elon's footsteps. That's it guys, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.